what he's thinking. Masih doesn't mean God. Then with regards to the idea that he's in heaven and is coming back, so right, he's coming back. So if that makes him superior to the other prophets, including our own, then he says, you see, Elijah in the Old Testament, it tells us that without dying, he was taken up by a whirlwind into heaven. Whirlwind into heaven without dying. And is there for some 4,000 years. So a person without dying, if he is in heaven for 4,000 years, he's superior to a person who's there for 2,000 years, who was supposed to have died and he came back to life. According to the Christian belief, that he died and he came back to life. This man, without dying, Allah took him up and is coming back. Elijah is in the Holy Bible. So that means now, if this is the standard of judging, then Elijah is far superior to Jesus.
Sheikh Ahmed.
Any ladies have a direct question? Wait.
Sir, I wanted to ask you about the there's a concept in Islam that Isa alayhi salam is going to come back again, not in the form of as a prophet. So I was just wondering if you could also, I mean, what is your comment about it? Because this thing has resulted in a great division, and there's a new sect which has emerged, which is MDS. So could you please comment about it?
Yes. Whatever that MBS is, I don't know, but however, you see, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, when he comes back, he was a prophet. You can't take the title away from him. He was the Masih, you can't take the title away from him. But he is not coming as a prophet. He is like a person, let's say a person is ruling this country, a king. That king abdicates. And there is another king now ruling in his stead. When that king returns to his kingdom, what is he coming as, a king or as a subject of the ruler? He's a subject. So similarly, if Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, when he comes, he is not coming as a prophet to give directives to people, because that directive is already completed in the Holy Quran. So he will come as a follower of the teachings of our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wait, brother, there's a written question here from the ladies. I'm asked to read it out and answer it. It says here, is there any hukum in Bible for Ahle Kitab that they have to observe Parda? Please read for me. Ruqayya Shakil. With regards to Parda, what do you understand by Parda? You see, Jesus Christ, what he said was that whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her had committed adultery with her already in his heart. That means in his Sharia, people were not supposed to look at women with lustful intent. In Islam, Allah Bari Ta'ala tells in the Holy Quran that when you see a woman, you cast down your looks. To the man, so when you see the woman, when you see the man, you cast down your looks. In other words, you don't feast upon men or upon women. This is the teaching of Islam. Jesus said, you must not look to lust. Islam says, when you see, you cast down your looks. I hope that answers your question. Yes, my son.
He was the name. My question is regarding the topic that you discussed a bit earlier. In this country, when we're living in the subcontinent especially, we are dealing with the people which are usually of the Hindu origin, right? We don't really tackle a lot of Christians around. So, I mean, so much for the atheists, they don't even believe in anything. But what about the pantheists, They do believe in the gods, right? But how can you confer upon them that there is something like a prophet, first of all, and that all the religions, if you look upon them, you can consider one thing, that they are generated around one personality, just like leaderships in the governments and all that. So if all the religions are to be surrounded around one person, how is it that person has not created the religion instead of being conferred by the God upon it? Can you answer this question of mine?
You see, you ramble so much that I don't know now what is actually you want from me. Please, if you can put forward a straightforward just question without rambling, I might be able to grasp what you want and I'll give it to you.
Yes, my question is that how do we know that the prophet is a real messenger of God instead of a self-created image before the people?
This self-created image before the people. What are you referring to?
Just like, all the prophets that you see, I mean, there was nothing to prove that they were right, except for that, what they said that they were right, right?
No, not right.
Okay.
You see, that's not right.
Okay.
We believe that God Almighty appoints his messengers.
Right.
And in that system of appointing prophets, we have so many names given to us in the Bible as well as in the Quran. We believe that Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Moses, was appointed by God.
Correct.
Dawood alayhi salam, by God. Sulaiman alayhi salam, by God. Isa alayhi salam, by God. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by God. So they were appointed by God. They didn't make themselves into prophets. That is, now look, I think I have qualified now. I've been to a university or a Darul Ulum, and now today I can claim to be a prophet. That wasn't so. You see, that is not the system. The system is God appoints his messengers. So in that system, every nation has had a prophet, says the Holy Quran. وَإِن مِّن أُمَّةٍ إِلَّا خَلَا فِيهَا نَذِيرٌ. And there never was a people without a warner having been sent amongst them. وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ حَادٍ. And to every nation a guide. A guide, a warner has been sent to all peoples. But now when this messenger of God comes, one certificate he has is that he's got no selfishness. He is not doing things, he's not teaching things so he can benefit from them in any way, materially. He is interested in the welfare. But mankind has a tendency to create legends around these personalities. And had it not been for the Holy Quran testifying and verifying that some of these personalities mentioned in the Christian Bible, whom we accept as the messengers of God, like Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam, the Holy Prophet David, Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, the Holy Prophet Solomon. When we look at these prophets, and Lut alayhi salam, the Prophet Lot, we accept them as God's messengers, and we as Muslims, we believe that they were sinless. They were sinless. All the prophets, wherever they came, because if God Almighty chooses his representative, if I choose my representative in my material welfare, in my businesses, I look for a perfect person that I can get. Honest person, upright person, hardworking person. If God Almighty chooses, he's going to choose the most moral of people. So now that is the principle the Muslim accepts, that every nation has had a prophet, and every prophet was sinless. Now when we read the stories woven around the prophets, if it was not for the Quran testifying about the veracity, we Muslims would never accept them. Like for example, Lut alayhi salam, the Prophet Lot. According to the Jewish record, the Bible, the Christian Bible, Lot committed incest with his daughters night after night. You know that? Do you know that? No. But suppose now, people tell you that Lut alayhi salam was a messenger of God. Allah saved him, from that destruction, what he destroyed his people, Sodom and Gomorrah. But this man who was saved from that destruction, he goes and cohabits with his daughters night after night. Would you accept him as a prophet? No. No. Can you see that? But because the Quran says they are sinless, we say these are stories concocted around the messengers of God. Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam, the Holy Prophet David. According to the Bible, he sees Bathsheba, somebody else's wife. From his palace roof, he sees somewhere on another roof lower down a woman bathing naked. And she was very beautiful to look at. So he's enamored by her. So he sends his secretary, his ministers, go bring that certain woman, and he finds out that she was menstruating. He said, look, when you cleanse yourself,